Today, I'm here with a very special person, although I'm the guest here, but he's a special guest in a way. Because we're interviewing him. That's why. So this is Hart Perry. And Hart Perry is a very accomplished man. He's done a lot of stuff. And rather than let me talk about this, I'd rather hear it from him. So Hart, welcome, of course, to your own house. My name is Chris Dale. I'm asking him questions. He'll probably ask me questions later. So Hart, just to give our audience a general overview of your background, I know you mentioned before that you were one of the cameramen at Woodstock, which I think is a very interesting thing, and a lot of people would probably want to know about that, since Woodstock's become this huge cultural thing for music, for peace, for people organizing things together. It stands as a kind of a milestone on many different levels. So I was wondering if you could talk about your experience as a cameraman at Woodstock and what brought you, how did that experience come about for you, and how did you feel about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was the youngest, least important cameraman of the Woodstock movie. And I got the job because at the time I was a painter and I was making films of my paintings. I was animating them. And I had a Bolex camera. But I was looking for a machine, it's called an optical printer, so I could do special effects with my filming.
Okay.
And I called it around and I got Michael Wadley, because he was using an optical printer to do split screens in his films. And Michael said, do you have a camera? And I said, yeah, I have a camera. And he said, do you shoot? And I said, yeah, I shoot. And he said, well, can you be one of the cameramen for me on the Woodstock movie and be in Bethel, New York next Monday? And I said, sure.
Wow.
So I drove up with my girlfriend to Bethel, New York, and I think there was the first meeting of all the cameramen, and the joint was passed, and all the older, more experienced cameramen wanted to film on the stage with Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and the Grateful Dead, but someone had to film in the crowds.
Yes, that's
So
right.
I was then anointed as the crowd cameraman.
Ah, wow. Okay.
So all the shots of many of the shots in the crowds with girls' shirts off, those are shots that I did. And it was a wonderful experience. Martin Scorsese was there as one of the editors, but he wasn't Martin Scorsese yet. He was just this guy from Little Italy wearing pointed Italian shoes. And underneath the stage, there were the number of assistant cameramen who were changing the film magazines.
All right. Yeah.
And
That's
in the center was a pup tent with a pole. And Martin came in and wanted to take a nap. Of course, underneath the stage at Woodstock, it's not an ideal place. And he grabbed the pole and the whole pup tent collapsed.
Oh, jeez.
And he said, help, get me out of here. But he wasn't Martin Scorsese yet. He was just this kid from the Lower East Side.
Right.
And the cameramen were laughing at him. He's kicking, trying to get out.
Yeah, a little guy stuffed in a little place like that. Wow, that's interesting. So,
And that convinced me that being a cameraman was a lot of fun.
yeah,
Because you get to, go to an experience like Woodstock. I filmed Jimi Hendrix in the morning because no one else was awake and they needed another cameraman.
wow. Okay.
It seemed like a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. So all those scenes where we're panning over the crowd and you could see just a sea of people there. That's your work.
Yeah, and the close-ups.
And the close-ups, well, that's amazing. It really is amazing. I mean, if we didn't have that in that movie, we might not ever know how big that crowd was or have any proof of how big that crowd was. So I think that's a very important thing, right? That we saw that in that. It gave us a scope, right? It gives everybody a chance to experience it as if they were kind of there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was a good hippie. I didn't want to just take people's photos without their permission.
Right. Yeah.
So there would be a group of people sitting around, and I would come up and say, "Can I, take a shot?" And they would pass me a joint, and I would, do a shot, and then I would go on to the next person. Well, I did this for the entire crowd at Woodstock, which stretched for like almost a mile from the stage, and I started out at the stage. So by the time I got to the end of the crowd and did all the shots, I was on my hands and knees.
Oh God, yeah. How long did it take you to go from the front of the stage all the way to the back? Like,
Probably a couple hours.
wow.
So I climbed up on one of the towers and put my camera on a tripod, and then did a shot which is in the movie, which is single frames.
Oh,
So I
I see.
animated the crowd. So the people who were stoned and not moving looked as though they were in real time, but the people in the front near the stage who were jumping up and down looked animated.
Oh, I see. That's quite clever. Yeah.
And the people who were walking through the crowds, there were sort of like rivers of people, and you could see them moving around.
Yeah. So it added life, basically. I mean, you could see the concert in the scope that other people would have seen it had they been there, or if they were while they were there.
Well, it's a special effect. It was animating the crowd at Woodstock.
Wow, it's amazing. And the weather. I mean, we see the weather on camera.
Well, it rained,
It rained, yeah.
and someone had to go outside and film in the rain. So, being the youngest, least important cameraman, that was my job.
Wow. So there was
Film the people sliding in the mud.
right. So it was hot and humid that day, or for those 3 days.
Well, it rained one day,
Right.
and then it was just sort of normal,
Normal weather.
August 8th weather
Okay.
in upstate New York.
Wow. And did you stayed right till the end because you filmed Jimi Hendrix's performance?
Yeah,
Wow.
I was one of the few cameramen who was still awake by that time.
Yeah, wow, amazing.
That's how I was able to film.
Yeah, and there's lots of people walking around, amongst garbage left on the grass and things like that. That was your work as well?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Very amazing. It really is.
So then later, at that time, I was a junior at Columbia College. And I went to graduate school, and I edited a film for Stacy Keach and Judy Collins, which was on PBS, and it got really good reviews. So I was then asked to do two things. One is to teach at Columbia in the animation, since I was the only person who knew how to operate the animation machine, and to be a staff cameraman at WNET. So that gave me a year of experience making many documentaries. And one of them was on Alice Cooper, because the producer wanted to make a short documentary about how stupid heavy metal music was.
Oh, gee.
And Alice was playing in New York, so he said, let's do Alice. So I filmed Alice, and I actually sort of liked the music. It was, and I had an advantage as a cameraman doing music, because as a kid, I was a professional musician at the Washington Cathedral, and as a choir boy, and got a scholarship to St. Albans,
Oh, wow.
where I
Okay.
was co-captain of the basketball team with Al Gore. And being able to read music, I could then, when the guitar player was playing,
You knew what to focus
guitar
on.
player, the lead singer is singing, I'll pan over. So the next day after our negative documentary about Alice was on TV, Alice's manager called up. And I figured, okay, he's going to get sued. They were really unhappy with the film. But instead, he wanted to know who had filmed Alice, because they liked the footage.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
So they then hired me to make videos for Alice Cooper. So that's how I started making music videos.
Wow. Okay. And what year would this have been?
1970.
1970. So early music videos, basically, of his.
It was before MTV.
You're right. Yeah, 10 years
It was for
before.
British TV, a program called Top of the Pops.
Okay. Yeah. There's footage of that on YouTube. That's amazing. So, what are some of the? Did you still had some work to do with? You mentioned before about Warner Reprise, and that you were.
Well, I had a summer job when I was in college at Warner's Reprise, and I was supposed to take records to radio stations
Right.
and have them play, Rod McEwen, or they had the Grateful Dead and Jimi Hendrix, and music that I liked. And I didn't want to tell the people at the radio station just to play the music without listening to it and really knowing it.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd listen to the albums 5 or 6 times and smoke some pot so I could really get into it.
Yeah.
And then I was a sort of a useless employee because I was from New York. I couldn't find the radio stations. It was at the end of the day. And I was like sort of worried about, not doing my job. So I wrote a memo to the head of the company, Mo Austin, Warner Brothers Reprise, encouraging them to make films on their artists for promotion. And I had some film examples to show, which were sort of like light show. There were filmmakers who I knew from San Francisco doing sort of like light show works. One particular film by Scott Bartlett called Off On. So when Jimi Hendrix was coming to Warner's to do his promotion for his record Axis Bold as Love, I scheduled a screening across the street from Warner's at the Warner's lot of the Scott Bartlett's film and some other films to show him examples of types of films that could be made with the artists. So the manager of my unit, who had put up with my inability to find the radio stations, and I came out with a limo to meet the band at the airport and take them to Warner's. And Mitch Mitchell, the drummer, had a briefcase, and I figured out that he has sheet music and metronomes, and he opens it up, and it's like a drugstore. And we smoke some pot, and I lose the ability to speak in any sort of coherent fashion. All I can say is far out,
Right.
movie, man, wow. And my boss was then put down by the band as a useless employee, which was really, my job description.
Wow.
And at the first opportunity, I think it was a stoplight, he got out, and I became the official emissary for Warner Brothers Records of Jimi Hendrix, the band, meeting the president of the company and promoting their record.
Interesting. Amazing.
So I was always in the basement. I'd never been in the president's office. And I was worried, my inability to speak in any sort of coherent fashion. But Jimmy saved the day. He turned up his record so loud that no one could talk anyway. And I showed him the films. And his manager took over because I was still a student at Columbia. This is the summer vacation. I had to go back to school. Jimmy's manager took over, and they filmed Jimmy at playing Berkeley. That documentary was then produced.
Okay.
And at Woodstock later, Jimmy, when he was coming down to play, recognized me, the least important youngest cameraman in the Woodstock movie.
But someone was taking their job seriously. That's
so my stock then,
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So I then, had the ability to film, and this woman who had taken sound on my Stephen Sondheim documentary was doing a film in Harlan, Kentucky, and I saw some of the footage and thought it was absolutely brilliant, and no one would fund it.
Wow.
So she needed a cameraman to film. And I was still teaching at the time, and you have your summer vacations of 3 months.
That's right. Yeah.
So I helped produce it, and we went down to Harlan, and we stayed with one of the striking miners. I mooched off him essentially, and started filming. And then for the next 6 years, off and on, I'd film in Harlan, Kentucky. This is starting in the early 70s. In the meantime, when I was making videos for Alice, they had contacted Salvador Dali, and Salvador Dali asked Alice's managers to produce the first holographic movie. And I found that you know, quite interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
It turned out that there was a physicist, Lloyd Cross, who I actually met in Soho when he had a exhibition of his holograms at a local college. And he, at that time, you could only make holograms on a vibration isolation table because you were splitting light and recombining it.
That's right. And any vibrations in the table would show in the hologram, and that's the main reason why, right?
Well, even though the laser was just as intense,
Yeah.
you would get a blank. You would get nothing.
Wow.
It would be black.
Yeah.
And Lloyd's idea to get around this limitation was to make films of people moving and of outdoor scenes and make holograms of the film frames. This way you could do holograms of people moving and of outdoor scenes and get around this problem that holography had of not being able to produce holograms of that imagery.
Yeah. Right.
So with the money, then Lloyd could do this shoot with Salvador Dali being the artistic director with Alice Cooper, and I was one of the cameramen.
Okay.
And then recently, and then I got interested in the technology and built such a machine with some friends of mine to make holograms. So I was doing that, and then I was filming with Barbara for a movie in Harlan County. And then in 1976, Harlan was nominated, this film that no one wanted to produce, pay for, was nominated for an Academy Award. So Barbara and I went to Los Angeles, got the Academy Award.
Wow.
She had to go somewhere, so she gave me the Academy Award, and I went with Lloyd Cross to make a lens for our holographic machine, which wasn't working. And I did that, and then the machine started working, and I started the holographic film company.
Oh, okay.
And we made a whole bunch of holograms.
Right.
And then I filmed another documentary for Barbara, which won an Academy Award. And that was over a 10-year period. And my phone started ringing off the hook to do more films, to produce more films. So I leased the machine to this holographer, Jason Sapin, who couldn't actually operate the machine.
Oh, wow.
But then recently, I was asked to film, to teach a special project in holography at Bard College. So I got the machine back and set it up in the country where I have an estate. And that's where I have the laboratory today, making holograms with the same machine and with other equipment that I was given by Rudy Burkhout, who's one of my partners making the original machine, and John Perry, who made the biggest and best holograms in the world, who retired and then donated much of his equipment to our laboratory.
Amazing, yeah.
And that's how we met you.
Yes, that's
you
right.
needed a hologram made.
That's
and
right.
No one else could make a multiplex hologram.
Right.
So you came here and we made your hologram.
Yep. And thank God that's turned out, better than what I thought. It's absolutely wonderful. I just wanted to go over really quickly. You mentioned you did several documentaries and films. I was wondering if you could just run through the list. I know there's a lot that you've done, but if you could just maybe list them if you could, and perhaps the years, in case there's some viewers out there that may want to check those out.
Well, there are a whole bunch, and I made many of them with Dana Perry.
Right, yeah.
My wife and the mother of my kids.
Yeah.
One of the kids.
Yeah. She won an award too.
She won an Academy Award, which is right there.
Oh, okay. Let's see if we can
I think that's maybe my job, helping my wives win Academy Awards.
Yeah, perhaps.
Because Barbara won 2 Academy Awards, Dana's won 1, and we're still making films
Yeah,
like what we're doing now.
that's right. Yeah, we are.
So the first film I edited, it was for Stacy Keach and Judy Collins. It was called The Repeater. It was this short documentary on American Dream Machine. The films won Academy Awards for Barbara's are on County USA, which is still in distribution, but a coal miners' strike in Appalachia. And then American Dream, which is another union-oriented film, which we made 10 years later. And then for MTV, a whole number of music videos for Blondie, for Alice Cooper, for Peter Gabriel, for Aerosmith, for many artists. And then I was interested, then I pitched MTV to do a documentary on the 70s, which they hadn't done before because they were doing music videos. So we did a 4-part series, 4-hour series on the 70s, which was about the changes in society that affected the music. Like
Oh, yeah.
Politics, feminism, the women's movement, and it was about what was behind the music.
Right, yes.
So MTV had said, okay, behind the music, we'll go with that. So they did the series, and we continued doing documentaries for VH1 and MTV. We did one on the drug years. And I'll show you downstairs, we have a whole list of we have the home videos on cassette because they're all distributed.
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah.
I'll show you the variety of TV shows that we produce.
Wow. So it sounds like this is a very, very long list, and that there's no way. I mean, is there any that really stand out for you that were your favorites to work on, or?
Well, I did one on John Hammond for American Masters on PBS, and he was the producer who produced Billie Holiday and Betty Goodman, but really sort of introduced African American artists into the mainstream.
Oh, good. Yeah.
At that time, the record labels were doing Connie Francis.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And they were doing Neil Sedaka. They weren't doing African American. They weren't doing the blues or jazz. Wasn't popular. And he also then produced Bob Dylan's album, and Bruce Springsteen's album. Just, was a really interesting innovator, creative innovator in the music business.
Yeah.
So I did a documentary on him. I did a documentary called Sun City with Little Steven, who's the guitar player for Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
And Steven had this idea to do a anti-apartheid music video. And I then produced the video, and I used Steven's idea of doing the song with another prominent musicians, and I did the video with myself and prominent video directors like Jonathan Demme and Godley and Cream.
Right, yeah.
And then did a documentary that was on PBS and widely distributed.
Yeah.
It's the best video of the year for Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that video. It was several years ago, of course. But I was amazed at the number of people that they had in there, all these cameos, one after another, and all singing so passionately about this what they were feeling in this song. And it was interesting.
Nelson Mandela was freed.
Yeah.
Society changed.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it's interesting how music can move worlds like that. Or, I mean, it has an intangible effect on tangible things. That's maybe the best way to say that. Yeah.
Look, it affects society.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think it was Plato that said something like that. If you want to change people, change the music. Not in those exact words, but something to that effect, or something like that. And it does happen. I mean, that's you can see there's different eras of music, different eras of fashion, different eras of politics, different eras of interests, and it all kind of coalesces together and moves along like a river, right? I mean, it's very
And
interesting.
then with the machine that you play, the synthesizer,
Yeah,
that,
the
which we made the hologram of,
the Birotron.
the
Yeah,
Birotron.
yeah, yeah. One of the last ones. Yeah. Well, since we're on that topic, maybe we should go have a look at the holography lab,
Good.
since that's a perfect segue into there.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.